monsters are attacking the city! Again in the sequel to 2013's Pacific Rim, which is Pacific Rim Uprising.
The basic premise of this film is pretty much the same as the premise of that film, right? There's these giant interdimensional monsters that are coming to attack Earth, and the, heroes from around the globe and all the governments that kind of band together to create these giant
killer robots.
Yeah, killer robots.
Called Jaegers.
Right, called Jaegers.
Take them down.
Right, that are piloted by these...
kids,
but young people, relatively. In this one, and the last one, there were kind of like a veteran and a younger, adult. And this one, there's like they're getting the kids into it.
This one stars John Boyega. He plays Jake Pentecost, the son of Idris Elba's character from the first movie, and we were taking bets before the show about how many times he would mention his father and how he's not his father,
right?
Or some other father-related issue in the movie,
right? Because it was really played up in the trailers,
right? I mean, if you were going to play a drinking game on this one, you may have gotten hammered, but they didn't. They actually didn't. Pleasantly surprised, they didn't hit this too often in the show.
Yeah,
and so that was kind of nice. John Boyega is actually very charming in this movie. He does a good job,
right?
And if you liked him as Finn in Star Wars films, then he does another good job. Slightly different character, but
I would say a very different character. Certainly more self-possessed than Finn, right? Like a lot more confident and a lot more swagger and stuff. But
they're both kind of running from something, so there's similarities.
Right. Well, I was going to say, in terms of the whole setup of him not being his dad and whatever.
Yeah,
and, it's a very cliche kind of thing that we've
definitely
seen
not breaking new ground
in movies a million times, but it's fine. They make it work.
Yeah.
Who I liked a lot in the cast was Callie Spaeny. She's a relative newcomer. She's been in a couple other small things that you've probably never seen. She gives a really good turn, I thought, as Amara Namani, who's this young 15-year-old, girl
scavenger
who gets recruited into the Jaeger pilot program, and she's really a highlight for me.
She was good.
Yeah,
she was
a high point.
Scott Eastwood, he does a pretty good job as Nate Lambert. He's the leader of the Jaeger pilots and one-time friend, co-pilot, whatever, of Jake Pentecost. And not too happy to see his old friend return. Right.
They kind of have a rivalry during most of the movie. But for me, the best performances from the movie come from Gorman and Charlie Day, who return as Dr. Gottlieb and Dr. Geisler. And I thought Day, in particular, really got to have a lot of fun in his role.
Yeah, he really kind of kicked it up a notch from the last show. I mean, he was kind of out there in the first one, but in the sequel, he's even more out there.
Yeah. They provide a really nice through line, a nice connection between the first movie and the second movie. And they did some different things with Charlie Day's character, which I thought really, like I said, he had a lot of fun with it, and it really worked for the movie and the plot of the film.
The worst role in the show, however, has to go to Adria Arjuna as Jules, whose character is basically written as a plot device instead of an actual person. She's non-existent, more or less. No development, no backstory, nothing.
I just think, if you're going to make her a character at all and try to make her a part of the movie, then give her something to do, make her a character. But she really was there just to create this love triangle, and she has nothing to do besides look moony-eyed over the two lead males, which is just stupid. So it annoyed me.
They didn't even play at the angle hardly at all.
Yeah,
there's supposed to be something there, but it wasn't. It was kind of very aside.
Yeah, well, they established no relationship between them. You don't have any sense of...
Not really.
Why she would even have feelings for either one of them besides the fact that they're handsome and they're Jaeger pilots. It's pretty stupid.
Definitely no history.
But there are a few new fun twists in the sequel, I thought, even though, there's a lot of similarities between the first and the second one. But there were some fun new twists in this one.
I agree. Very fun to watch. You get to learn more about the monsters, the kaiju, and their goals and motivations in this movie. And they do some new stuff, got some crazy new big monsters, even crazier than the ones in the first film.
Yeah.
However, there are some unanswered questions still about the interdimensional monsters and how they get here in the first place. there is a setup for a third movie at the end of this one. But yeah, I was kind of like, okay, well, who opened this rift in the sea in the first place? Did they do it in the first film?
In the first Pacific
Right. Like, I mean, we see what happens in this one, of course, but like it doesn't answer how the other one got there.
In the beginning. How they got there from the very beginning.
And so it's like, well, whatever.
So, for me, I know that Josh and I both were kind of a little leery going into this one.
Right.
For different reasons. Josh really enjoyed the first Pacific Rim.
I did.
And from the trailers was not hopeful that this was going to be a good one. And these are the kinds of movies that often the sequel can be...
really sucky.
Really terrible. Yeah. Yeah, really terrible. I, on the other hand, was leery of it because... I didn't really enjoy the first Pacific Rim that much. These kinds of movies are just not for me. This was the experience I had sitting in the theater last night as we watched the first 30, 40 minutes, I don't know, whatever, 30 minutes probably of the movie. Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm going, this isn't bad. This is okay. I like these characters. And then as soon as they got into the giant robot suits and started having giant robot fights, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't like this. And I was just out. Like, for me, it was like I just totally checked out. So I know, like, if you're the kind of person like Josh who likes to see giant robots fighting each other, giant robots fighting giant monsters, then you'll probably like this.
Wrecking the city.
Right.
Awesome.
You'll probably like this movie. I get so annoyed when cities are getting wrecked up. I'm so tired of that. I'm just like, oh, no more city wrecking. Anyway, I don't like it. So that's just all there is to it. I'm just not into giant robots. I'm not into giant monster films. This is not a genre for me.
Right. I, however, actually really surprisingly enjoyed this movie. Almost as much as the first one. I did like the new angles, the new characters. The new robots were cool. The new monsters were cool. The city wrecking was spectacular. And, I get that can be a little tiresome. It certainly was at the end of Man of Steel. It's like, all right, we get it. They're destroying the city.
Right.
Enough. But it just works in this vein of, big monster, big robot clash. It just works.
Yeah.
Overall, I would probably give this movie, for me, 3.5 out of 5.
I don't know. I don't even want to rate it because based on what it is. Based on what it is, yeah. I mean, it's not supposed to be deep. It's not supposed to transform your life.
No.
It's just a popcorn film. It's just supposed to be fun.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And yeah, I mean, it was fun. There were a couple of moments where I was bored and I felt it was dragging a bit. Josh did not have that same experience.
I did
so
not.
For me, it's probably closer to a 3 out of 5.
Okay. I give it the extra half star because toward the end, there is a big, funny surprise in it. If you're a fan of the Armstrong and Getty radio show, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So
yeah, it is pretty funny. That was one of the...
Totally out of left field.
One of the best moments of the film, actually. And there were a few other really funny...
There were.
Moments in the film, but that one was the best. It was... It was definitely great.
Well,
all right, so that about wraps it up for this edition of Drawing Conclusions. Thanks so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like our video, leave a little comment, share this with your friends, and of course, subscribe. Thanks.
Thanks for watching.